And the United States, how's it replied? It's abandoned those bases. In Al Udeid, it used to be it was the de facto forward headquarters of AFCENT, Air Force Central Command. It's, the nominal base was in South Carolina, but the actual, the general, commanding general, the staff, all the activity, it was there forward at Al Udeid because they had this massive $1 billion plus radar, a couple of other radars. They were able to see everything in the area. They were on top of it. And just before the start of the war, the Central Command, Bubba's went, you know what? It's going to be too exposed there. We better get these guys out. They relocated it all to Shaw Air Force Base. But they thought, hey, we still got the coverage of radar. And within the first 2 weeks, Iran had destroyed the radar. So now they're blind. Now they're dependent upon AWACS and Poseidon 8s to give them ISR information because the ground radars are gone. They're history. And they're not coming back soon. Because you know what? They too need gallium and other rare earth minerals. And the Chinese are saying, hey, no, we're not selling you that. So the United States has been effectively run out of the Gulf. And I think much to the surprise and shock of the Saudis, Qataris, Bahrainis, etc. They keep trying to figure out how to rope the United States back in, but the United States does not have the abilities to sustain military operations at those forward locations.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Given that the technologies now are quite different, that is the ballistic missiles and drones of Iran can now target the bases. I mean, these US bases were not built for these technologies because they can't protect them. All these fancy, expensive radars, I mean, they just became very attractive targets for the Iranians. So you see this being a problem. You see setting that region on fire has some profound implications for the world economy. You see the US weapons stockpiles being depleted. And as you said, there's no convincing pathway to a military victory in which the Iranians will then capitulate and agree to have their state destroyed. So, there's no way of even opening the Strait of Hormuz. And given all of this, at some point, Trump will have to, circle back from, I'm going to destroy Iran to, negotiations are going great. So at some point, they will go back, have to talk to the Iranians. How do you see the pathway to diplomacy go now? Because they just got the MOU and Trump, began to dispute the key points in the MOU, hours after it was signed. So,
right.
But again, the Iranians don't trust the Americans, but at some point they do have to talk to them as well. And Iran has some interest, I guess, in terms of getting sanctions relief or, whatever the US might be willing to offer or reparations. So how do you see diplomacy playing out again? Because again, if I was Iranian, I would want to talk to the Americans, but I wouldn't trust them for a second. So how would those negotiations look like?
Well, you've got the Trump public negotiation, which starts with these threats and to attempt to coerce the Iranians, and then his famous taco move, as they're calling it. Trump always chickens out. There is a diplomatic impasse right now. The impasse is this: the Trump team's position is Iran must negotiate on the nuclear issue first and foremost, before anything else. They've got the Trump team needs a victory to show that, okay, we've got, basically going back to the JCPOA. That's all it is. Iran said, no, we're not going to negotiate anything about any nuclear issue, whether it's enrichment or the possibility of building a nuclear weapon, until you fulfill the MOU, which means Israel withdraws from southern Lebanon, you lift the blockade, you lift the sanctions, you unfreeze the assets, and you acknowledge that we've got control of the Strait of Hormuz. That's it. And right now, the United States is not willing to do that. But the problem Trump is going to face it's going to be on the economic front. They've been able to mitigate, cover up so far the actual effect on diesel, aviation fuel. They've been able to pretend that, oh, everything's okay, but it's not okay. And the international financial market is not okay. The dollars on the international market is not okay. People aren't lining up to buy the dollars, just the opposite. Whereas the Chinese are in a much stronger position. They've been buying gold like mad and stockpiling gold. Why? Because they're going to have a gold-backed currency. And man, when people around the world are looking to invest, do you want to invest in the United States where you just got Donald Trump's promise, oh yeah, we'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today? Or do you go with the Chinese and say, hey, ours is gold back. You buy it, you got guaranteed for, each dollar will have X amount of value on gold, depending on what the gold market is. So China is rapidly moving, along with Russia. They're building up the whole BRICS economic infrastructure. And, the United States is going to have to contend with that because the impact of the shutdown of the Persian Gulf right now, it's a global economic impact. Now, China, for its effort, on one hand, is trying to mitigate that because they depend upon exporting to the global south. But at the same time, they've shown no indication that they're going to abandon Iran and force Iran to surrender to the United States, just the opposite. Because the Chinese recognize as well, they're next on the menu. If Iran goes down, if Russia goes down, China's next on the menu. And they understand this. So they're playing, they're planning for it and are prepared to deal with that. That's where, the United States hasn't even planned for this. We thought, oh, well, the supply of earth minerals, that'll take care of itself somehow. And any solutions are, a good 3 to 5 years away for the West. So I think the economic realities are ultimately going to be what's going to compel Trump. He's going to have to make concessions to Iran that will, basically establish Iran as a winner in this confrontation. It'll drive the neocons and the Zionists crazy, but it's not like the United States lacks the will to use military power. It doesn't have the military power to use in a way that it's willing to incur the losses that would accompany its use.
大家好，我是主播周玉琴。很多的朋友告诉我们，选择原版的太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌，它添加有羽衣甘蓝，健康再加分。而有睡眠困扰的朋友们，赶快选择蓝色包装这一款晚安加强版，绝对是更有感。每日克菲尔，时刻美好 ，Good Feel Good。请上快点购为健康下单，而且要记得输入推荐代码，有额外的折扣优惠。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌基础版、晚安加强版新包装改版，内容不变，抽取更方便。要吃就吃最好的。